Welcome, everyone. We're back for our second session of the Parents, Students, and Guardians Town Hall meeting. My name is Ashley J. Sutton, and I am the Director of College Relations here at Miles College. Today is July 31st, 2020, and we are days away from opening our campus for fall 2020 academic year. And as you know, tons of information has been related to the students about everything that's going on related to COVID-19. And we wanted the opportunity to invite all of you in to ask questions for us to clarify for you. So we have an all-star panel tonight, and we also have our very own President Bobby Knight. She's the 15th president of Miles College. So I'm going to bring her on in to welcome and give remarks. And following, we will introduce our panelists. President Knight, how are you doing? She's on mute. Hold on 1 minute, President Knight.
I'll unmute.
Yes, there you go.
Thanks, Ashley. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for being on this panel with us. I just want to say to all the students and the parents, thank you so much for allowing your student to choose Miles College as your choice for continuing your education. We are excited. I am personally excited about the kids coming back to campus next week. I will tell you that we labored long and hard, and we have put all kinds of processes in place to ensure as much as we can the safety of all of our students, faculty, and staff. It's been a labor of love. This has been a very, very difficult and unusual time in our school's history, and I know in all of our lives. But we feel confident that we have everything we need to be as safe as we can possibly be. But it really does depend on the students. We are requiring a lot of work from our students to make sure that they're keeping up with their social distancing, wearing masks. We are providing them masks when they come, and that also that the social distance is critical, but also that they will track their symptoms and report those daily into a portal that will allow us the opportunity to do contact tracing. So anyway, again, thank you so much. You're going to hear a lot of great information this evening, and I just look so much forward to seeing you, meeting the new students, and greeting our returning students and parents next week. Thank you so much, Ashley.
Thank you so much, President Knight, and thank you for your leadership. Okay, guys, so we are going to start the questions portion of this panel. So if you have a question, please drop your questions down in the chat box. I also want you to share this video. Also, I want you to text your friends, tell them to get on here, and it's time for them to get any clarification that they have for their questions, okay? So share with your network, add us on Twitter, and we will be answering questions. So I want to introduce you all to our panelists tonight. We have Michael Johnson. He is the Vice President of Enrollment Management. Welcome, Michael. We have Geraldine Agee. She is the Provost and Senior Vice President of Academic Affairs. And we have Mr. Charles Starworth, the Dean of Students. Thank you all for being here with us this evening. So I'm going to start off a little different tonight than what we did earlier. There's tons of different questions that came through earlier about the COVID testing process. So I am going to throw some questions for you all out there, and I want you to answer as you see fit. So number one, do a student have to get tested before coming to campus? If so, who do they send those results to?
I'll take that question. For, of course, students living on campus, as I mentioned, I'm Charles Starworth, Dean of Students. You would need to send your negative test results to Dean of Students at miles.edu. By having that negative result, that will allow you admittance to move into your residence hall for your dormitory.
Okay. Anyone else?
And for each student, the new students and the returning students, you should have received an email in your personal and your Miles College, most importantly, your Miles College email inboxes. So check your inbox, check your spam, and look for an email that gives you directions on the process for COVID testing prior to coming to campus. So check your spam and check both your personal and, most importantly, your Miles College email address. It'll give you all of the answers to your questions and the specific information that's needed in order for you to be ready to come to campus, and information that you need about testing.
Thank you, Dr.
So,
Agee.
and I want to add one point to that. Good evening, everyone. There's two components to the testing mandate that we have here at Miles College. The first is that you get tested prior to your arrival to campus. And so Dean Stallworth just spoke a few moments ago about submitting for on-campus students, submitting your test results to him to make sure that we can get that situated. But you want to make sure that you have accessible to you, whether via paper or on your phone when you arrive to campus, a negative test result. In addition to that, you will be tested upon your arrival to campus. All students arriving to campus next week, no matter the day, no matter whether you're a continuing student or new student, all students will have to get tested upon their arrival to campus. And so that's our requirement. We've also required that faculty and staff get tested. They went through that process this week. And so we're going to do our due diligence to make sure that everyone is tested. And also there's going to be a continuation of that process throughout the semester. And you'll get more information about that as we move through this conversation today.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. So to follow up with that, what if a student have a pending COVID-19 test and the results don't come back until after August the 3rd?
In retrospect to that moving, and sorry, Mr. Johnson, I'll jump in and allow you. We still want to stick by that mandate. Nothing is going to happen to your room reservation. There's plenty of space in the residence halls, but we want to make sure that your health foremost is the most important thing, as well as the students on campus and the faculty and staff. So as soon as we have that negative result, you will be allowed to move into your residence hall.
So for students who, we get these calls all the time of students who are not sure that they're going to get the results in time to arrive to campus next week, or who may have tested positive for COVID and they're currently quarantining. If you have completed a housing application and paid your housing reservation fee, your room will not be given away. And if you are tested positive, you need to send an email or contact housing or Mr. Stallworth as the Dean of Students and let him know your circumstance, whether it be that you're moving in at a later time or that you've tested positive, so he can make the necessary arrangements on that end. For students that tested positive or they're quarantining or they're waiting for results, the idea is that your class is still going to be starting on time. And Dr. Agee is going to give you more information about that here momentarily, but your class is still going to be starting on time. And with the flexibility that we've established, you're going to be able to start your classes from anywhere you want, whether it's home, whether it's on campus. And so we'll have more information about you. But the good thing is that we're going to allow you to start classes wherever you are, and whatever the circumstances are, you're going to be good to go.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. So if a student gets infected with COVID-19 and they test positive, of course, do they have to go home, Mr. Stallworth?
In retrospect to that, we do have quarantine or isolation rooms in our facilities. There are a total of right at 40 isolation rooms. You will be held in one of those quarantine rooms until a healthcare professional, which will be on campus, on our staff, to assist you in that, because that is a confidentiality thing. We want to make sure that you're handled in the best respect. Of course, you won't have to worry about going hungry or anything like that. Food will be brought to you, and you will, all those isolation rooms have their own restrooms, so you will have your facilities in order to utilize that. We will handle it in the best and most pristine manner in reference to assist a student if a student does become positive while on campus, and then take the necessary measures to quarantine them properly if further care is needed with the healthcare professionals' advice and direction.
All right, thank you so much. If a student is high risk, can they room alone?
High risk, clarify that question.
So if they have other health concerns, yes.
Yes, they can. You can request individual room. There will be an additional charge, so we will work with you in reference to your FAFSA just to make sure to accommodate you, but you can request a singular room for that particular reason.
Awesome. Thank you
Can
so
I
much.
can I add something to that on behalf of the Dean of Students? I've seen the reentry plan and the work that's gone into the housing plan. So arrangements have already been made to make those adjustments for the safest possible configuration of the room set up for the students. So the person asking, can I have a single room? That's understandable, but you've already made those adjustments to the number of students in each of the rooms. And so adjustments have been made for just this reason.
Thank you, Provost.
Thank you.
And I want to support the dean in one more and add one more component to this. The earlier that you communicate these items, the better. And so, if that is a request that you have right now while you're watching this this live stream, I would email the dean of students, letting him know that you would like to switch, so that we can make sure that before you arrive, proper preparation is made. And so I just want to add that, to make sure, again, that you're not running around campus, that, when you arrive, we would have taken care of much of your process as we possibly can.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr.
So
Johnson.
we're going to shift gears here. So Dr. Agee, a student would like to know how are classes being offered this semester?
That's a good question. I could actually see it in the Facebook comments as well. Another student asked, are all of the options going to be available to students? Basically, if a student had enrolled to take a traditional on-ground class, same way they would have taken their classes prior to this COVID pandemic, that same student has two options available to them. One option is to take their class in a hybrid learning environment, which means that if their class meets on Monday and Wednesday or Tuesday and Thursday, their first day of their class, let's say Monday, would be in person in in the same size classroom, but smaller, safer environment with their instructor. Then that next class on Wednesday, they would go to their class virtually on their own Blackboard. The same would be true if they did a Tuesday or Thursday class. So that's one option, which is hybrid. They will have some instruction, some face-to-face instruction, and then some virtual instruction. The other option would be for a student to take their classes virtually. So if they were a traditional student, they could either do it hybrid, some in person, and some on virtually, or they could do all virtually. Also, there's flexibility. If there's a student, say that I have a family member who became sick and now I've got to take care of my brother or sister, and it's unrealistic that I'm going to make it to campus, at any point a student can say, I want to go ahead and finish my semester, these classes virtually, and those accommodations will be made. Now, we do have a separate program, which is our Miles College Online, and that's a 100% online program. And right now, the major that we're accredited to offer is a bachelor's in business administration. So we have an online program that's just for students who take their class strictly and 100% online. So that's a separate program from our most of our traditional students. I say 99% of our traditional students can take their classes hybrid, which means they come to class in person and sometimes online, or all virtual for the same courses.
Thank you so much, Provost Agee. Another question is, how or when does a new student acquire a Miles email address, which is really good.
Great question. Once you arrive to new student orientation, that's part of your process. And so registration, I'm sorry. Once you arrive next week and you're going through that process, once you're validated and we have you in classes, your Miles email account will be generated, and that information will be given to you once you complete your registration process.
Thank you so much. Another question that we have is, where do students who live off campus, which is a great question, I don't think we answered this, where do students who live off campus need to send their results?
Those students should send their results to healthctr@miles.edu. I'll say that one more time. Health, HEALTH, CTR@miles.edu.
Yes. Another.
And it's right there on the screen. There we go.
Thank you, guys. Someone else asked, can we get the Dean of Students? So I just want to clarify that everyone's information is going to be given throughout this broadcast. So you will get everyone's information, and also with their various areas, you will get their information. Another question that came up for us is, how are the virtual classes set up?
So what I'm excited about is the fact that last semester we were able to turn 700 classes from on ground to online in a matter of 18 days. We've been spending the remainder of the spring semester and all of this summer in preparation for the best possible experience for our students this fall. The virtual experience that our students will take part in while this semester will include being able to take their classes via Blackboard. Every student will get an email address and a Blackboard account. They will have highly interactive e-textbooks that come as part of their tuition. They don't have to go out and buy any other textbooks. Their textbooks are included in their classes, as well as our teachers have gone through training throughout the summer so that we can be more interactive and really take advantage of this digital platform that we're able to learn through. We will also be having an online success team for the students so they can have additional support all throughout the semester to help them. If anybody is online or virtual classroom shy, they will not be alone. They will have a peer helper, and they will also have a faculty member that can help them along the way. So most of the classes, they will log in on, let's say if your class is Mondays from 8:30 or from 8 to 9:30, and you normally would meet here in McKenzie Hall, you would log in at that same time, appropriately dressed and ready for school. And you would log in at that time, and your instructor would be on the other end, much like what we're doing right now. And they would deliver the lecture. And most students have a discussion that they do every week, an assignment or a quiz or a prompt like an essay or something that they have to do. And then also all of the quizzes and everything are inside of the Blackboard platform. And we've actually made our classes more interactive.
Awesome. And Dr. Agee, can you let everyone know that we are having a training next week on the Blackboard? Is that correct? On how to use this different technology?
That's right.
So
yeah. We are, as part of the orientation, our online success team is going to be meeting with each of the different groups of the freshmen that will be here on campus. So there'll be a hands-on experience for them to learn about how you get into this technology. And now, you know, I don't worry so much about students being able to bridge that digital divide when we're here to support them, right? Because these students are native digital users. They grew up, you know, playing video games. You grew up with iPhones, or there's things that they can learn how to do that we're going to make sure that's translatable into an academic environment. And so the new students will have that as part of their orientation, but that it's not going to stop there. Every single week, there'll be members of the online success team that will help students in real time for the assistance they need for their virtual campus.
Awesome. Thank you. So it's important that you all check your emails.
Yeah.
We say that a lot throughout the semester, but especially it's vital in this climate that we stay up to date and make sure you have your information updated. So
that's right.
And I'm going to ask you, Zykeria, to clarify your question. How will the EPE be set up this fall? EPE. So I'm going to ask you to clarify your question with EPE.
I have it. I know what she's talking about.
Okay, well, go ahead, Dr. Agee.
Zykeria. So we will have any test that we have, we'll be able to administer them virtually or online, but there's going to be some changes with the EPE that you might like. So I won't talk about it here, but keep your email keep checking your email, but we will be doing some adjustments for our EPE and some of our other testing that we normally do in person.
Okay, so this is about move-in. Dean Stallworth, can you talk about the move-in process for students? Would parents be allowed to assist them in that process? If not, you know, what does that look like for a new student and continuing student? And maybe you and Mr. Johnson can speak to both parts of that.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Sutton. To the part of when they leave Mr. Johnson's auspices and come to the good old residence halls, that's going to look a part that parents can help a little bit. Because of our COVID-19, the CDC guidelines, all of Miles College wanting everyone to be safe, parents and or guardians will have their students. You can take their items, their belongings, up to the front of the dormitory or to the lobby or the foyer of each residence hall. At that point in time, that's where you will stop, and then it will be up to your son or daughter to move in the rest of the way, because we want to make sure that everyone's safe and they can do that. There will be student leaders here to assist them with that move in, and also we have the crates that are very easy to mobile crates for them to put their large items in there and use the elevator in order to get them between the particular floors. So to a degree, parents and guardians will be able to assist them, but we definitely want everybody to be safe and distant.
Thank you so much. If my child is a returning student, can she move in next Friday? Do we have a cutoff date for when students cannot move in?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, Dean Stallworth, I'm sorry.
You read that, right?
I was going to defer, but no, definitely for returning students, your preferable date, of course, starts on Thursday, August 6th, but of course, you may come in on Friday. Be advised, though, we would like you to get here the earlier, the better. I think Mr. Johnson, correct me if I'm wrong, closing time would be 5 or is it 6 o'clock? 5 o'clock. So make sure a returning student, if you do have to come in on Friday, just be here before 5 p.m.
Thank you so much, Dean Stallworth. So how do students taking online classes get validated? Mr. Johnson, is that you or Dr. Agee?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what we're asking our students to do is to make sure that they filed their financial aid. Most students that have filed their financial aid and are financially clear have received a financial clearance document throughout the week. And so if you have not received that financial clearance document, what we're asking you to do is contact the business office or financial aid office before you arrive next week. And so they can tell you exactly what outstanding items you have to submit before you arrive. Once you satisfy all financial obligations to the institution, then at that point, you are eligible to be validated.
Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. A student would like to know about scholarships. Do their scholarships, if they choose to only do it online, even athletic scholarships, what does that look like? Since, we understand that this semester, all of our athletics is going to be canceled. So how about for their scholarship money?
Sure. I'll answer general scholarship questions, and then I'll turn it over to my colleague, Dr. Agee, to answer the question about our athletes and their scholarships. But for the most part, all students, whether you're taking classes online or in person, if you've been awarded a scholarship, then you will continue to receive your scholarship in the fall. And so there's no adjustments needed on your end. That scholarship has been awarded to you. And the only thing that you have to do is make sure that you continue to fulfill the obligations dependent upon your enrollment while you're enrolled at Miles College.
Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. Dr. Agee, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, so for the students that are on athletic scholarships, the best way to find out about your status and information regarding your athletic scholarship is to reach out to the athletics division, and their contact information is 205-929, hold on one second, 205-929-1615, or you can email bpalmer@miles.edu. And if you are a student and whether you're volleyball or football or any of the golf sports, reach out to your coach. Your coach is going to be your best resource for sharing information for you about scholarships. That also applies for band and our choir, our award-winning auxiliary programs. But for athletics, the information is right there. That's who you can contact about scholarships related to athletics.
Thank you so much. Mr. Stallworth, Dean Stallworth, students want to know, what does student activities look like this semester, being that we have to abide by, social distancing and the mask mandate? What does that look like for student activities?
Okay, so one thing that was said earlier, and I want to borrow from Mr. Johnson, your college experience is going to be the same, but imagine it literally distant. So we're going to try to make sure that we're as innovative as possible, but be prepared that most of our activities will be going on outside. So think of intramural sports, think of creative, mind-boggling activities like, life-size chess or Monopoly, kickball, volleyball, and just think of options that way. For the Greek life, I know fraternity life, of course, is really big here on Miles College campus, but think of doing the steps at a distance. Instead of strolling together, they're strolling apart, but it's still the same thing. Think of distance, but the same, and any innovative ideas. I'm going to warn any student, returning or new, hey, Dean Stallworth, I have this idea that we can do to help embellish or increase our student activities. We'll be leading at forefront, but we won't be too high that we will definitely not let or allow a student to have creative genius to help activities be even more fruitful for everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dean Stallworth. If you're doing online classes, and this is for the panel, if you're doing online classes, will a meal plan and housing be taken off your tuition? So I don't know if we can address this or if we need to give any information for financial aid. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you're taking classes fully online and you had original plans to move on campus, what we're asking that you do is contact Dean Stallworth to inform him that you no longer intend to stay on campus. He will make sure that housing is no longer charged to your account. And make sure that, we do have some students that are taking classes off campus, but they still plan to eat in the cafeteria and have a meal plan. So make sure that you contact us and let us know exactly what your plans are so that we can make sure that your bill is adjusted.
Awesome. A student asks, my test results came back. Can I bring my negative test on the day of moving in? Like, can they show their test results on the day of?
Great question.
Yes.
Please bring them, most definitely, of course, as all of my colleagues have already said too, be sure to email it to that email, healthctr@miles.edu or dean of students at miles.edu. And of course, please bring the hard copy negative results.
Thank you so much, Dean Stallworth. I have received an email saying that I have been validated. Will I have to still go through the process of going to the student center? So that's a good thing. They've been validated, right?
That's a great thing. So let me talk to you a little bit about that. If you've received your financial clearance and you are living on campus, you don't have to wait in any lines. You don't have to talk to anybody. The only thing that you have to do when you arrive on campus is, of course, you have to go through the COVID testing. After you do that, you report directly to the French Center, and you'll be redirected to the President's Dining Hall to pick up your housing key and move into your room. And so you get to skip the entire process. And thank you again for taking care of your business and knocking it out. And that's the luxury of knocking those things out before you get here. So congratulations, and we look forward to meeting you next week.
India Coleman. Okay. Next question, Dr. Agee. Are all majors being offered online or just a select few? You're on mute, Dr. Agee.
All classes for fall 2020 will be offered hybrid and virtually. So whatever class you have, you'll be able to take it online. We're accredited for a bachelor's in business administration. So if a student wants to continue taking classes online, they love it. This is the life for me. Right now, we're accredited to do a bachelor's of business administration. However, we have voted in our instructional council to add more classes to that and to add more programs to that. And so very short order, you will see an email coming out probably from Ashley Sutton that we have even more classes that are offered, more programs offered fully online. But this semester, whether it's Gen Ed, Humanities, or OChem, you're able to take your classes online this semester. But the fully online program that we're accredited for is business administration.
Awesome. Awesome. I was about to ask Dr. Agee if she wanted to make that announcement about our new courses. Go ahead, Dr. Agee.
And we also have a new program that I'm very excited about. This comes from my background. So, and then also something that's very important in all our communities. We have just been accredited to offer a new bachelor's in psychology program. So for students that are interested in that, you can start declaring that as a major. Reach out to Bernandi Green that works in social and behavioral sciences, and we'd love to have you. So students are going to find themselves having more and more options here at Miles College.
Awesome. Great job to Dr. Agee and her team.
Yes.
Yes. Next question. I would like to know, if you can't move into your assigned day, how can you make arrangements to move in a date earlier?
Great question. So if you're a new student, what we're asking is that you contact admissions at 205-929-1656 so that we can make sure that your date is being communicated both to the housing team and the other areas as we prepare for your arrival. If you're a continuing student, we ask, and you're staying on campus, we ask that you contact Student Affairs so that they can make sure in housing that your day is flexible and your room assignments and all that other good stuff is ready for you to arrive. But I also want to say that orientation dates for new students have been assigned based on your last name. And so if you have questions about that or you need some flexibility, call admissions at 205-929-1656 and they'll be able to guide you through that process.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Dr. Agee.
Actually, I just looked at the follow-up to that question about all majors being offered online. No, the only major that's being offered online is business administration. Because of COVID-19 and us wanting to have ultimate flexibility for our students, we've made our in-person classes available in hybrid, which means, one day you're in person and another you're online. Or totally virtual. Someone made a comment that as a music major, there's some classes that they have to take in person. That may be the case, that you may talk to your faculty members and they say this is the way that this class is going to be, which is what they should do. But if students have an accommodation or they need to take that same lesson virtually, it doesn't matter what the class is, we will make those accommodations. But if a teacher wants to teach you the tuba in person, that makes sense. But then also we will make accommodations if somebody's got to take an instrument and work virtually with their professors. That accommodation will be made.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I'll tell you, if you have any questions or comments or you want to make some adjustments, Dr. Agee has done a phenomenal job of making sure that our course offerings are flexible and that, all adjustments are made with you in mind. And so make sure you ask questions and you contact for academic affairs 205-929-1000. That team is set up to make sure that they answer all of your questions about classes and make sure that they meet any of your needs.
Awesome. Thank you. If I come to campus and I realize that it's just not for me, can I go home and take all of my classes online?
Yes.
Yes, you can.
That was easy when we're all shaking our head. Absolutely.
And as a matter of fact, I've actually worked with my faculty on how we've designed the classes. And so that if somebody does need, we saw it in the spring, right? We don't know what the, what's going to happen from day to day. Things are evolving and prayerfully they're evolving for the better. Right. But there may be situations where someone says, hey, I need to go home and help my little sister or something like that. You're going to get no trouble from any of your faculty members. They're going to be accommodating. Also, you can email me directly. I'm at provost@miles.edu if you have any trouble.
Thank you. Can you add, go ahead. Anybody have a follow-up to that?
No.
Okay. Can you add another class when you come for move-in day? Would there be academic advisors on hand for us to add and take away classes?
Yes. So our advisors we'll have 2 advisors every day who will be able to help you to register for your classes or add classes. And because many students are picking that virtual format, there are students that are like, you know what, I might have a little bit more time for a little bit more classes. So we're seeing people enroll for more classes. And I do want to say this, I said this at noon, I don't want to miss it right now. This is your semester to get straight A's. This is your 4.0 semester. If it's never happened from kindergarten till now, fall 2020, this is your year, this is your time, this is your semester, and your faculty and your academic affairs and this whole dream team is going to be with you every step of the way. This is your semester. Don't miss it.
That's right. Thank you.
Yes.
Michael, Mr. Johnson, there are a lot of questions coming up about new student orientation. We have, where should a new student report once they arrive on campus? And a follow-up right behind that, where will the first day of orientation be, well, new student orientation be held and continued student orientation? So can we speak to that? And that was a couple so let me know if you need me to back it up. But
yeah, no. And I have one more from Jakaria Miller that I'm going to add to that.
Okay,
the question is, are we moving in by last name or the time that we arrive? So I'm going to answer all those questions in one swing. And Dean Stallworth and Dr. A.G., if I miss anything, please feel free to let me know. Students are asked to come to campus based on their last name and your orientation registration. And so if you're a student whose last name is A, your assigned date is Monday, right? And so if you can't move in on the date that your last name is assigned, the only thing we're asking you to do is call admissions at 205-929-1656 and come after 1 o'clock if that is not your assigned day. If it is your assigned day, we're asking that you report to campus at 9 a.m. It's going to be a continuous process. So between 9 and 1, if your name is coordinated on the day of or Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, we're asking that you show between 9 and 1. If you are trying to move in on a day that is not your assigned day, we're asking that you come in after 1 o'clock p.m. The important thing to realize is that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are registration and move-in days. And so we want you entirely focused on completing that process. We want to make sure that you're financially clear, you're registered for classes, you're moved into your residence hall, and that you're happy with your setup for the semester and your enrollment is complete. For new students, orientation starts on Thursday at 10 o'clock a.m. You're going to receive more information once you arrive at campus, but for the first time, orientation will be offered entirely online. And once you complete the enrollment process, that information will be distributed to you. For the students that are going to be on campus, we're going to give you some watch party locations around campus that you can join members of your class, the class of 2024, where you'll be able to learn all about the culture, all about academic affairs, housing, and all this other great information at 10 o'clock. We're also going to have some giveaways for you, so it's going to be great. For the students that are going to be a new student who don't plan to live on campus, you'll have the link so that you can watch it from your home. If you're a student that's living on campus that doesn't quite feel comfortable attending one of the watch parties, you'll be able to watch the orientation from your room. And so again, the theme for this semester is flexibility. And we're going to make sure continuously, whether it be through student activities, academic affairs, or navigating the enrollment process, that we're as flexible as we possibly can, and that you're going to have all the resources that you need to be successful throughout the semester. Did I forget anything?
That was good.
Good. Okay. All right. Great.
Thank you. We are excited about our new students who are coming and welcoming them to the Bear family. If a student is doing virtual classes, will he or she still need to come to campus for a student ID?
Yeah. Well, if they're local, it's important to get a student ID. If they're able to do that, yes. If they're not able to do that, then no. But if you're going to be on campus for any reason, the student ID is your passport. So you do want your student ID. Can I mention something? On the Facebook line and the chats are Dr. Charles Woods. He is our chair of natural sciences and mathematics. I saw that he put his phone number in the chat for any students that are interested in STEM. I can't see.
Awesome.
There he is. This is your time. It's your semester. And if anyone has STEM questions, they can contact him. Where else can you go?
Awesome.
To college, and your chair of your division is reaching out to you to answer any questions. He wants to see you go to med school or dental school or grad school or work in a lab. And so we've got the great faculty that are committed to your education. This is your semester.
Yes, I love that. This is your year. This is your time. This is your semester. Mr. Stallworth, can we talk about more of cafeteria food? How would that be served? What does that look like for even students who do not live on campus? A student wanted to know, can they come and still have the food options to eat on campus if they would like?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Ashley. With our cafeteria, of course, everything has been changed because of social distancing. So it is a reduced capacity in my cafeteria. You will actually have a total of 3 options in reference to food. If you would just like to have a pick up and go or a carry out and go, our barricade, which is our smaller version of our cafeteria on the right corner, when you come, you'll be able to walk in, pay for your meal. It's fixed for you in a to-go plate, and you can leave, and you'll be able to also eat outside, which will have picnic tables and tables for you. So that's option 2. And of course, our traditional option is, of course, if you do want to dine inside the cafeteria, everything is at a social distance parameter. So if you've been doing any experimentation and having restaurant food this past summer, think of it just like that. You're going to be 6 feet apart. Things will be served for you, plasticware. It'll still be the same collegiate experience, and we're taking your safety first and foremost, and you will be able to have any of those 3 options, or of course, eat in your dorm room.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dean Stallworth.
Can I add to that? As we were doing our reentry plan here at Miles College, we actually had the Jefferson County Department of Health to work with us on our reentry plan. All of the healthcare agencies in the area, if they were offering assistance, we were first in line to hear what are the experts saying. And so even the way that we are providing food in the cafeteria was discussed with the Jefferson County Department of Health. So these guidelines for the parents that are listening and the parents that are in the chat, we're going to take as good a care of your child as we would of our own children at our home.
Dean Stallworth, a student says, I am a returning student who is interested in volunteering any way possible. Who do I contact?
Great question. Of course, you contact me. Definitely. And I see you, Dominique Nguyen. Hello, former student. Please contact me. Please email me at
We like volunteers.
Yes, I love volunteers. cstallworth@miles.edu or dean of students at miles.edu. Any of our returning students who would like to assist and help, please, as long as you, of course, follow our guidelines, I can't wait to have you assist us and assist all of our team, the dream team, with whatever we need, especially with our new students class of 2024 coming in.
Good. Dr. Agee, a student would like to know, will classes be available on Blackboard on August the 10th?
Yes. So student will be yes, that actually your faculty members are tinkering away now on your Blackboard classes. They're all up now. Every validated student should be able to see their Blackboard courses on August the 10th. If you're not validated, that means you still got to work through your financial aid. The minute that gets done, magically Blackboard will appear. But the Blackboard classes will be available on August the 10th. If you have any glitches or if there's any problems, please reach out to your department chair, who will make sure that we troubleshoot whatever problems there may be. But they will be available on August the 10th, the first day of class.
Awesome. Good job. A student asks, which is really, really important, and we all know this even from our time together. And I would like to chime in because I want them to know that we have been monitoring this pandemic very closely. But if the number of cases rise again, is there a backup plan in place for departure from the school? And Dr. Agee, maybe you can repeat that question, or,
Could you repeat the question?
If the number of cases rise again, is there a backup plan in place for departure from the school?
Right. Yes, of course. So one of the things that happened on March, thank you, Delshia, Ms. Matthews, for asking that question. So the president was elected as the president by the board. I believe it was on March 5th. That was a Thursday. The following Tuesday, we were in the room where Ashley's sitting right now, planning our COVID plan. So none of us could have even imagined this. Because we've done that, because the president has required us to keep notes, we all got smarter. We're reading all the time. We're sharing links all the time. We're following every protocol. If there becomes a situation where we have to deploy any type of safety measures for the campus, then we would be willing to do that, and we would do that at that time. And so that's always a possibility, and we always stay prepared for that. And because of what we were able to do in the spring, and what we've learned from that. Should we be able to do it again? We're prepared to do that. But we're praying, and we're also putting our best work forward, our best science forward, and looking at the best ways that we can keep our campus safe. And one other thing that I want to add, there's some comments from parents about not being able to go up to their children's room. And I know that experience, taking a selfie with your child in their room or your student in their room. We all have to start to think about the COVID safety and this new normal. And so how else can we still share with each other this magnanimous moment of taking our son or daughter off to school. So instead of that final moment being putting them in the dorm and then walking away, maybe that final moment is standing on a corner and giving them a hug before they go down the hill to school. So I want us to start to think about not just the rules and the requirements, but how is it that we're being safer together as a community together. But yes, the question was asked if we needed to evacuate, if we needed to put any kind of emergency plan in place. That's why students, we ask for your contact information almost every time we talk to you so that we can deploy the bear alert and send out any messages that we need to send out. And we will be prepared if we need to do anything to protect the safety of the faculty, students, and staff of Miles College.
Thank you so much, Dr. Agee. Mr. Johnson, how could a student register for new student or freshman student scholarships? That was a question.
Great question. So I said this earlier, and I walked away, and my email inbox had about 100 emails from students asking if they were still eligible for scholarships. So the answer is yes, we still are awarding scholarships. We automatically award scholarships based on the information that you've shared with us. And so if you are a new student that submitted a transcript earlier in the year and your GPA has since gone up, then we ask that you either bring those transcripts with you, and we will award scholarships at orientation once you arrive if your GPA has risen and you qualify for one of the academic scholarships. And so we are still awarding scholarships. Share with us your transcripts. If you are one of our students who applied to Miles College and you have not submitted your transcripts yet, or you just submitted a high school diploma, we ask, and you're interested in scholarships, we're asking that you bring those documents so that we can evaluate your transcripts upon your arrival and get you the necessary assistance, whether it be scholarships or other types of financial assistance with collaboration with financial aid.
Awesome. Will there be anyone available to speak to parents upon arrival?
Great question. Yes. And so I think all three of us on this call will be throughout orientation at any given moment. Additionally, Courtney Sankey, the Director of New Student Scholarships and Programs, who coordinates our orientation process, will be available to speak with parents. And so when you arrive, feel free to ask for any of us, and we'd be happy to talk with you once you arrive to campus.
Awesome.
Actually, I need to add something I can see in the chat. There's a question about an email that states give the COVID test to Andrew Sewell, and then we're putting down these two different emails for the COVID testing.
Okay.
Charles Stewart, Dean of Students, is in charge of anybody that's in housing. So that's why the Dean of Students needs to know and needs to have that. The official email address that Andrew Sewell will check is healthcentr@miles.edu. As you see it scrolling along here. So that's the official email address to send it to. So when you check your email, it will say that. And so that is in the email. The person that checks that email is Andrew Sewell, because someone's like, do we send it to Andrew Sewell or Health Center or Dean of Students? So healthcenter@miles.edu for all students. And if you're in housing, Dean of Students at miles.edu.
Thank you for clarifying.
So I want to drive that home one more time. If you are a student, whether you're a new or continuing student, and you are staying on campus, what we're asking you to do is email two email addresses: healthctr@miles.edu and Dean of Students @miles.edu. If you are, I'm going to say that again. If you are staying on campus, we are expecting you to email both of those entities. If you are staying off campus, we are asking that you email healthctr@miles.edu.
And then I have my staff, Misty. Can you put that information in that chat for me? So that way that information will also be on Facebook. So if any of my staff can hear my voice, if you could put that in the Facebook comments, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. D. Will routine sanitation be performed in the classroom and the dorms?
I'd like to answer that. So we have a reentry plan that's up on our website now, and it's got great graphics that's in there to kind of show you what it is that the campus is planning to do. But it has already started. Hundreds of gallons of hand sanitizer have been purchased. The right formula of cleaning solvent has been purchased, and the buildings and the grounds are being cleaned continuously. In between classes, there will be cleaning that will happen in between each of the classes. And we're also asking our faculty and our students and our staff to do, which is what I do. I don't have it. I mean, you guys can't see what I got around me, but you know, you get up, just like if you go work out at a gym, you get up and you go ahead and you just take care of your space when you go and throw that in the trash. So we want to get in that habit of doing that. But also the regular cleaning will happen in each of the classes in between instruction.
And to add on to that, thank you, Dr. Agee. And with everything, great question. With the residence halls, with the main corridors of each residence hall and the lobby, those will be sanitized and cleaned 3 times a day. And then 2 times a week, we will actually have sanitation days. It's almost like Ghostbuster-like guns that spray the sanitation equipment and the right solvent. As Dr. Agee mentioned, we will be coming to sanitize your dormitory spaces just to make sure, and also promote a healthy, clean environment all the time with our students. Yes, PPE equipment, if you bring your own, of course, that's fine. But the college, as Dr. Agee has acclimated, has bought hundreds of gallons of that solvent and thousands of masks that are going to be distributed to you. So we want to make sure I'll be wearing a mask. Everyone's going to be wearing a mask. And we want to make sure that health is wealth. That is going to be one of our models. Health is wealth. And we're going to continue to have an awesome collegiate experience on the grounds of Miles.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, someone wanted to know, would parents be able to walk their student through the registration process and visit with them through student activity or the Brown Hall? What does that look like? Do they just drop them off in the front of Miles College?
Yeah, great question. So we know that all of our parents want to be actively engaged in their students' collegial experience, but you know, Dr. Agee explained the backdrop, right? The backdrop is that we are trying our best to ensure that this process is as fluid as possible. And so what that looks like is that parents will be allowed to drive their students onto campus. There are various components of the new student registration and continuous student registration process. We're asking in the French Center, which is where the academic registration components will be. Students will have to navigate that process on their own. Parents will be asked to stay downstairs because of limited built-in capacities to ensure that that process is fluid and that we can move as many students through that process as possible. For students having to navigate financial aid or student accounts, any of the financial components, parents will be able to walk their students through that process because that's important. And when we understand that process includes our parents. And so you will be able to walk your students through that process. Again, that process will be heavily regulated by social distancing guidelines and building capacity guidelines. But that is the component that you will be allowed to assist your child with. The other component of that is housing. And I'll let my colleague, Dean Stallworth, talk more about that.
In reference to the housing, thank you, Mr. Johnson. As it's already been acclimated, but we can't stress it enough because, like we said, we want to make sure that everybody is healthy, wealthy with your health, and we want to make sure that we practice those social distance protocols. So when you do drop your student off, you're not dropping them off. As Provost Agee said, we're just going to think of more innovative ways. In other words, as they're coming out, you're taking a picture of them while they're walking inside the residence hall. When they come out the residence hall, doing a selfie. But we want to make sure that your student, your prized possession, which will now be under our care, is making sure that they'll have to do that component of their own. But I'm sure when you do come on the campus outside, take a picture at our Black Lives Matter mural, take a picture at our beautiful Brown Hall on the steps, take a picture on the football field. A lot of distance and a lot of space out there, but just on those tight components, we would ask you just to bring them to the foyer or lobby of the residence hall, let them finish that particular journey, and then you meet them up with the baton and you all can take it from there.
Awesome, thank you. Mr. Johnson, a student would like to know, are there any scholarships for transfer students?
Yes. If you are a transfer student, please call admissions at 205-929-1656 or email admissions@miles.edu, and they'll be able to let you know which scholarships you'll qualify for.
Dean Stallworth, for returning students, do we go to the student center like normal, or is there a new way to go about it? Is the process the same than last year, or is this a new process that we should expect when we come onto campus?
I'll actually answer part of that, and I would love Mr. Johnson to jump in. Yes, part of your location, part of your process will still be in the activity center on upstairs, but there's only 3 components. As my colleague mentioned, it will be your admissions component, your advising component, and your academic records. However, Mr. Johnson, take it from here.
Sure. So it depends. If you are one of our continuing students that filed your financial aid and you your student account is taken care of and you're registered for classes and you're staying on campus and you've completed your housing application and paid your housing reservation fee, then the great news is that you've likely already received your financial clearance. And the only thing that you have to do is meet Mr. Stallworth and Ms. Mitchell in the President's Dining Hall to pick up your key. If you are one of our continuing students who have not completed components of that process, then there are other components that you have to complete. So either you need to register for classes, or that you have some outstanding requirements that you need to comply with in the business office or financial aid. And so most of you know where you stand at this point. And so when you check in next week, there'll be people that can help guide you through that process. The goal here, though, is to make sure that you get as much of your business taken care of prior to your arrival. One of the things that we love about this process is that the students that have done a really good job of taking care of their items, they're just going to have the easiest process. They just got to pick up their key and move into their residence hall. The other students, we're going to do our best to make sure that we support you as you navigate that process and give you all the resources that you need. But meet us in the French Center and we'll tell you where you need to go next.
Awesome. Are freshmen allowed to have a car on campus?
Yes, you are. And also to speak to when you get ready to purchase your decal, I know that question has not come up yet.
No, it didn't.
It is? Okay, awesome. Don't have no fear. You can have a car, and your decal, you need to purchase it before the Tuesday after Labor Day. So you will have that time. It is a cost of $60, and you'll be able to purchase that in the business office. And it's good from this August of 2020 until August 2021.
Okay. Are band students supposed to move in on the first day? So Mr. Johnson, maybe you can walk through the overview of move-in days by last name to clarify. I don't know if there's any special provisions for people who are in band, choir. So can you talk through that?
Sure. All of our band students are asked to report on the day of their last name. So that doesn't change. You're still going to report to campus the same day as your last name has been. If you're a new student, on the last day, you're still supposed to report to campus based on your last name. Those dates were just below. I don't know where they went, but those are the dates that you'll be returning. Irregardless if you're a band student or a choir student, we're asking that you report to campus on the day of your last name, right below me. If you are one of our students who need some adjustments, right, and we've been getting a lot of calls, mom and dad bought a ticket for the 3rd based on an earlier registration, we are still interested in welcoming you to campus on the day that is most convenient to you. The only thing that we're asking of you is to move in or show up to campus after 1 o'clock p.m. All right, so if your name is A through I on August 3rd, and you've registered and your name falls under that platform, we're asking that you show up between 9 and 1. If your name is it starts with anything other than A through I, we're asking that you arrive to campus after 1 o'clock p.m. Those same tenets remain true for August 4th and August the 5th.
Good. Dr. Agee, I'm not sure if you wanted to get into this, but we did have a student who asked about the spring semester, and they wanted to know, will all majors still be online for the spring semester? So we know that we are entering the fall semester, but they said spring semester.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, yeah, so we're,
Yes, we are.
one semester at a time. The fall semester,
Yeah.
we will offer it virtually. I think that digital online coursework is a wave of the future. We will offer more and more classes online for the flexibility of our students who might want to work and take a class, or take a class and do an internship in DC or Japan. And so we want to continue to have that flexibility for our students. So we will be adding more and more classes to our online curriculum as we go. But for right now, we have one completely online program, and that is our Bachelor's of Business and Administration. But we will be offering our classes virtually in the fall. But there will be more and more classes offered in the spring. And we also, I just got off the phone with very exciting opportunities with a well-known person who wants to teach for Miles. And so we're able to diversify our faculty offerings by having more classes online, because now we can have a award-winning author or a TV personality who can commit to every week being virtually in front of our students and not having to be in the same room, but can be in the same room virtually, and they can commit to that. So we'll be diversifying our certificate programs and our academic offerings through more and more online classes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Agee. Dean Stallworth, will there be people to help get refrigerators upstairs to their rooms, or are you going to be carrying everything for us, Dr. Dean?
Well, I thank you for that question. Tag that
No,
student that
I
asked
added the
that.
last part in.
No, just kidding. No, definitely. Our student leaders, which includes our SGA and our RAs, which are our resident assistants, they will be here to assist our students, especially our young ladies, to help traverse up the steps or the elevator, because some of our dormitory residence halls do have the elevator. There will also be the crates that are mobile, of course, with the wheels that you can put your larger items in there and roll them from your car or truck to up to the dormitory and residence hall. Of course, for our gentlemen and everything, we will assist you the best way we can, but we'll be, of course, expecting you to carry most of the load.
Hey, Charles. Looks like they're frozen for a minute. So there's a question in the chat about tests to be sent home. And there will be some clarifying information that will be put in the chat around tests to be sent home. There was some information that went out about that, and we got an update on that today. So check back to this Facebook chat and this Facebook Live, and we will be putting that in the comment within the next hour about home testing. There was some information that was sent out about home testing. There's been an update like in the last hour about that. So we'll be able to put that information in the chat soon.
Thank you, Dr. Agee. And also to add on to what Provost Agee mentioned, if you're a continuing student, please check your Miles email. If your Miles email is giving you a little bit of a problem, remember you might have to reset your password. Once you do, you have access to the link, which will say student address entry form. And when you click on that form, it comes up with the modules that you fill in that will allow a testing kit, as Dr. Agee mentioned, to be sent to you. Also, if you are a new student, your Miles email is not activated just yet. So whatever email that you apply to Miles College with, that is the email that you can use to check to see about the status if you do need an at-home test kit.
So there's a question, are we going to be doing anything homecoming related? We definitely will be acknowledging our campus in many ways, but we don't have official information about exactly what a homecoming celebration might look like. So please stay tuned. Stay on this channel, the Miles College, or if you're on the Miles College YouTube, and then also our Director of Public Relations will put out a press release about that. We're focusing on our academics right now, getting our students in housing, but there are a lot of celebrations and traditions that we don't want to lose, but we're going to find ways to still acknowledge each other in that. Vespers is something that we do for our new students, and that's normally where we have a Sunday evening ritual where we welcome them into Miles College. We won't be doing it exactly that way in Brown Hall. Have we done it for many years? It may be outside. We may, do it a little bit differently, but that's where checking your email comes into play, and making sure that you sign up for Bear Alert, where you can get updates, and then you will have updated information about those different types of activities that we normally do.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, we have answered, we went a full hour with questions, and I know that there are going to be several other questions that pop up and come up, but I would like to ask our panelists to if you have anything that you're thinking of that you want to relate to students, or if you have any closing thoughts, you can do so at this time.
I would like to say just the fact that it's 6 o'clock at night and that I'm sitting in my office, Dean Stallworth is sitting in his office, Vice President Johnson is in his office, Ashley's here, and the president is here, all on this campus, shows the commitment and care that we have for all of our students. And we're here for them for their epic semester. There's many students who, if they need tech information, right here in the chat, we have one of our leads for our tech department who is putting his information in the chat about how you can get assistance if you need to log into your account or you forgot your email password, which happens to all of us. And so you can look in a Facebook chat and get that information. You can email, there it is, Walter Rice III. Thank you so much. For returning students, if you have email issues, you can call 929-1498. Last semester, they had an 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. help desk, or you can always email itsupport@miles.edu, and they will get right back with you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Agee. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Agee. Mr. Johnson, any closing thoughts?
Yes,
For new
absolutely. Absolutely. So I have thoughts for everyone, but I want to tell you that President Knight has given us very intentional mandates to ensure that we do everything possible to ensure your safety, to prepare for your return, but to also ensure the larger safety of our entire campus community. And so everything that we've done has been done with a great deal of thought and a great level of intentionality. And so we want to say first, thank you again for continuing to be engaged with Miles College. But again, thank you for your patience and your flexibility throughout this process. We're so excited to meet you and welcome you back to campus, and for new students, welcome you to campus for the first time next week. And if you have any questions, again, I hope you took down most of these contact informations that's been distributed throughout the call. We're happy to answer any other questions that you might have. Of course, it is Friday afternoon, and so if you have questions over the weekend, my recommendation to you is to ensure that you're sending emails. Our staffs are responding to those over the weekend as we prepare for you, and so we're excited to meet you and see you again for our continuing students, and travel safely, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. Dean Stallworth, any closing thoughts?
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Sutton. And first of all, shout out to this amazing dream team under the leadership of our servant leader, who is President Bobby Knight. I want our students to really realize that you've already went through a tumultuous past. All of us, class of 2020, those who are getting ready to embark on this new journey. And I just want you to really think about that you now have the opportunity for a new future. We're always talking about this new normal. Now you're getting ready to have a new future. It's a different type of future. And if you all can just basically put your mindset forward, thinking all the time to be healthy, to be safe, to be clean, to be socially respectable of others with our social distancing, this future here at the illustrious 1898, as I call it, Miles College, is going to be a great one. So I can't wait to receive you, all of our colleagues, the provost, Director Sutton, Vice President Mr. Johnson, our amazing President Bobby Knight. We can't wait to receive you. And I just think about that you're going to have a new future, and it couldn't be any better without you. And that goes for our new students and our returning students.
Thank you so much, Dean Stallworth. I am going to throw it back to Dr. Agee, and she's going to give you a few updates about the test kits. We've been seeing that a lot. So go take it away, Dr. Agee. Hot off the press.
Okay. So the question that was asked, how do we get at-home tests My returning student tested here, and they mentioned the state, on Wednesday. Not sure if it'll be back. What should we do at this point? There's a couple questions about the at-home test. And so for our COVID reentry manager, that's Andrew Sewell, he's texting us. He said they should go ahead and request the kit to have it to be sent to their home address. Once it arrives, promptly take the test and place it back in the mail. They'll get the results within 24 hours. He said they can email him directly so that they can get a quicker response. And also, he said the biggest thing is to request the test. Go ahead and request the test and get the test and get it moving back in the right direction. And Misty is going to put Andrew Sewell's direct contact information in this thread, but he can be reached at asewell@miles.edu for questions. Or you can call 205-929-1000 and press 0. And you should be able to get him if you have those specific questions, or somebody on his team can answer that. So,
That is hot off the press, right?
What you say?
I said that is hot off the press, right?
It's hot off the press.
Yes. Well, we thank you so much to our panelists. Thank you to everyone who asked your questions and showed up, not only for this session, but earlier sessions. We will see you next week. We are excited to be in community again. It's very important to be in community. And we wish you well. We wish you safe travels, and we will see you next week. You guys have a good night. Bye.